The year is 1008. The war is finally over, but at the cost of many lives. As the smoke disappeared and the fires passed, a farmer named Arthur walked into the former battlefield, littered with dead and their possessions. His land was in ruin because of this battle, and his heart was in pain to see so many dead. Arthur was a good man, one who had cared for his two sons a long time by himself, enduring the sight of many such battles. As Arthur looked around the battlefield, his life was about to change. His eyes saw an object that begged for his attention, a piece of a gold medallion. The body that carried this medallion looked like that of a king. Only half of the medallion was on his neck, however hanging on a gold chain. As Arthur picked up the medallion and secured it around his own neck, an incredible sensation came over him. He could feel that the other half of the medallion was somewhere in the battlefield. The medallion he possessed was calling out to the other half. A loud rattling could be heard not too far from where he was standing. Arthur walked directly to where the sensation was guiding him. As he approached closer, the noise from his destination grew violently. Before Arthur's eyes lay the other half of the medallion around the neck of another body that also had the presence of a former king or leader. The medallion on the dead king was rattling madly, as well as the one around Arthur's neck. As Arthur took the medallion off his neck, the rattling of both medallions stopped. He could tell that the medallions would not be able to find each other unless a live being carried them around his neck. As Arthur stared at the other half of the medallion, he could not help but wonder what would happen if they were combined. Arthur tried to put them together, but they would not connect. Examining the medallions further, he could see the inscription was written on the medallions, which only made sense when both were close together. On the medallion, an inscription read, "Beware of the power of the medallion, as it will turn a good man into a great man, and an evil man into a monster of greed." The last sentence was in the form of a spell. A spell meant to combine the two halves together. After Arthur recited the words, the medallion shot out of his hands and merged a few feet in the air and landed back to the ground. Arthur picked up the medallion and placed it around his neck. He had amazing power. As he looked around the battlefield, he was able to move his sword without picking it up. He could break a branch without going near it. As he looked around and kept doing whatever his mind desired, he could feel himself weaken greatly. He fell to the ground, gasping for air. Arthur threw the medallion off his neck to the ground. He could feel that he was not strong enough to possess such power. Arthur now understood after looking around the battlefield why this medallion was so bizarre and how it had caused the deaths of so many. Arthur decided to put the medallion back on and commanded it to break in half again. Leaving the battlefield, Arthur carried both halves separately. "What's wrong, Father?" Arthur, unsure whether or not to tell his sons about this medallion, decided to say nothing. "Nothing, my son. Help me prepare for dinner." As Arthur entered his bedroom, he hid one of the medallions in a secret place under the floor and left the other medallion in his shop. Ezekiel said, I bet he has something it won't show us. I want to know what it is. Xavier replied, you are so greedy. You need to stop thinking about owning yourself sometime. With a mischievous look, Ezekiel turned away from Xavier. After dinner, Arthur took one of the medallions to his shop outside of his home to analyze it. Come with me, Xavier. Ezekiel, please clean up the kitchen. You always favor Xavier over me, Father. Ezekiel, you are my son, as is your brother Xavier. Upset and frustrated, Ezekiel stormed away. In the shop, Xavier asked, what is it, Father? Look at what I found. I fear that this was the cause of yesterday.